Hey everybody, Coach Deanna here. So this is what I promised earlier today, this is really for those of you that are completely new to Kajabi. And I want to address some of the frequently asked questions because I'm sure some of you may have already signed up on a trial. Maybe you signed up for the special that they had several months ago for the 90 days for 3 months for $99, whatever it was. And you probably are still like, I'm not sure that I get it, right? So all week I am going to go through each section of Kajabi. And I will, in case you don't know me, one of the things is I am extremely upfront about any of the things that may or may not work for you. I have to apologize. I'm a little distracted because I have a person working on my Dell computer right in front of me on the screen. And I'm trying, and I also have a cat on my desk right now. Okay. So what I want to say is that we're going to focus on going through step by step each of the areas and helping you to understand how you might use it in your business and what some of these things actually are. I think this will help answer a lot of questions that you might have. And obviously, if you have more questions after we do one of these overviews, you can post it in the comments. I am not kidding that there is a cat right here. Like he's going to, now he's stepping all over the place. Okay. So I'm about to shove the cat on the floor. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to start with something that I know could be a big question for a lot of you. So let's go ahead and I am going to share my screen. Don't forget, if you're watching live and you have questions, give StreamYard permission to access your Facebook profile because that way I can see who you are. Oh, and I see Lucy's here. Hi, Lucy. I'm so glad. You can't find the live on the Facebook page. It should be, when I go live, it should be right in the feed, right in the group discussion. Because it looks like, yeah, you're watching on YouTube again. Okay, so let's go, and I am going to share my screen. And you see the cat tail because he just climbed across my lap. All right, let's get into it. All right, so this probably looks familiar. This happens to be my demonstration site. I have a site. It's like my little playground where I test things and I, mess around and experiment and play. So this probably looks familiar, that this is the dashboard when you log into Kajabi. Now, a couple things that I do want to point out that are super important is the Kajabi Assistant is here at the very top. It's a really helpful area that if you are trying to figure something out and you're not sure quite where to go, you can use the Kajabi Assistant to use it for search for your help. You'll also see that all the different areas down here of the Kajabi sidebar, so the website, products, sales, marketing, people, these are the topics we're going to go over every day this week. You can jump to them from here in addition to this sidebar. So for example, if you have a question about website themes here or how to remove automations, all of that you can search here. You can also start typing, like if you had a question about pipelines, So like there we have, oops, had my pipeline. Pipelines overview. It also pulled up all the pipelines I have. So it shows me everything here in my site that had pipeline associated with it. And it also shows the help. Okay. My cat is really driving me crazy. Okay. So I wanted to point that out because that's super helpful. Now, the other thing, I'm sorry, I'm losing it, is you're going to see some things as I share my screen. And you might look at it and you might say, my screen doesn't look the same as Deanna's. And part of that is there is an option in our settings to activate something that's called the Kajabi Labs. And I'm going to show you that right now. So down in the lower left-hand corner, settings, which is very important to get your settings all filled out and ready to go before you start actually selling things. This is honestly the first place that I really like to start. And when I'm working with people, I'm kind of like, have you got your settings done? Because it controls so much of the experience for you as you build your site, as well as your future students and members. But located here in the settings, right down this middle section, the very bottom, is something called Labs. So if you click on Labs, this is sort of the beta version of things that the Kajabi developers are working on. So as they are releasing new functionality and new options, they release it into this labs area. And when you have this toggle, you can turn these options on and off. So I tend to turn them all on because I want to check these things out and I need to practice with them. I need to work with them until they're actually released. So you'll see here there is a bunch of things and they've got them organized by topic, like analytics, your offers and checkout, people. Oh, and that looks like everything that we've got right now. So as I said, if I'm going through something and I'm showing you something on the people tab and you say, mine doesn't look quite like that, it's probably because I have an option activated in Labs to be using a new version of that particular section. This is also a great place to go to check out some of the new stuff that's coming along. So this one is when I talk about frequently asked questions, this is almost always one that comes up, which is you might create a brand new offer and you want to test the checkout and you go to test the checkout and you can't do it and it doesn't work. Well, part of that is, not part of it, the main reason is it recognizes that you're the admin and you are logged into your own site and it's not going to allow you to, act as a customer and test a checkout. So the answer for that has always been you either log out and use a different email address or you just use an incognito browser window. So it's not recognizing that you're logged into Kajabi and it will let you test the checkout. But because that's been such a challenge, Kajabi has now created this new preview and draft mode that allows you to actually go through the checkout process yourself to find out and make sure it works properly and experience it just like your customers do. So same thing, letting you know, when I have these things turned on, you may not see them. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here and we are going to start at the dashboard. Now, one of the things about the dashboard that's really handy is it gives you sort of a snapshot of the last 30 days. So again, this is my test site. And so there are no opt-ins, there's no sales, there's none of that stuff. They also do have information here about some of their updated features. They have different development cycles where they release a lot of updates, and all that information is summarized there. They also have a number of trainings available that you can also participate in. Now, I'm going to talk about some frequently asked questions about things related to what you can and cannot do with Kajabi. So I think one of the probably the most requested or most asked question is about the website. And yes, you can host a website on Kajabi. And when I use the term website, I'm referencing a public website. So, Kajabi gets a lot of recognition for being a course platform. And that typically, of course, not typically, it means that people have to have access either by paying or you giving them access to see the content on a course platform. That's the whole point of it. But Kajabi also allows you to create what I always refer to as a public site, the public website. I can't tell if you guys can see him, but he is just right here in my face. A public website, and that includes a blog. So I think what I'm going to do is, especially since we've got like 5 days and I wanted to pretty much identify or go through each one of these sections, we'll kind of focus on website today. So the website over here in this tab, you can see consists of a drop down that talks about design, pages, navigation, and blog. And design has to do with Kajabi's website themes. So if you're familiar with WordPress, you know that you can get themes, which is the part that controls the design of your website, which is what it looks like. All right, folks, I'm so sorry. I am going to have to throw a cat out because he's driving me crazy. I shall be right back. Say hi, Buster. Say goodbye, Buster. Sorry about that. Now, those of you who have cats probably know you love it when they love on you, but good heavens, I don't want him to do it while I'm trying to do this. Now I can focus. Okay, let's try this again. All right. So design talks about the customization of a theme, and Kajabi has a number of different design themes that you can choose from to build your website. It also controls a number of different pages. And these pages are, I like to refer to them as the public-facing pages. And then there's also what they refer to as system pages that are more of the behind the scenes for a paying customer. So in this situation, what we're looking at right here was a theme. This would be a website theme that Kajabi had. I do want to let you know there are a number of extremely talented people who make some beautiful, beautiful Kajabi website themes. And there are some that I really recommend. I think probably at the end of this week, I'll give you guys maybe like a resource list or something. There are some people that if you look at the Kajabi themes and you're just not feeling it, you might want to look at some of these third-party themes. Now, there's always a little bit of concern when you buy a third-party theme because you have to trust that that person's going to keep the tech portion of that up to date. The people that I recommend and the people that I know, I do trust because I have seen it happen where something changed and they invested the additional time to update their themes. So I feel very comfortable recommending a couple of these people. But Kajabi, again, has some different themes. And you can see here, I've saved some of them. So they have a Serenity, they have Kim, they have the old standard Premiere, that's old, believe me, Amelia. So they have some different themes that they have set up. And the good thing is you can, like I always joke, you can kind of try themes on. You can choose one and not activate it, but you could see how your content would look if you were using that theme. If you like it, then you can activate it. Now, having said all that, let me throw you a curveball. I don't recommend using the website themes for your actual public website, with the exception of your blog. And this is the reason why. Unlike using the Kajabi landing pages, you can't make a copy. So let's say, for example, I'm just going to use the website theme, Reach, and I'm going to have the home page, but I'm updating it and I want to update the design and I want to make a copy of that home page so I can work on it behind the scenes and then make it public. You cannot do that with website pages. It's very frustrating, and I know a lot of Kajabi users get started that way and then they're sort of stuck. But I do recommend using landing pages. So your home page is going to be a landing page, and then it's very easy to connect them all together through a navigation. So just to look at this one, for example, if I click this arrow, so this would be the home page. It's showing me the example of the home page. And this one says resources. Oh, it's the library page. So a library is the system page. That is what happens when your customers buy. Their products are all kept in the library, and that is where they access the products that they've purchased from you. So that one system page, that one's a good one to use. There is now a member directory. Honestly, I have not worked with a member directory very much. It's a bit limited. It would allow your members to put their name, their location if they wanted, and link to some of their social profiles. I don't know too many people that are actually using this. There are probably some other better tools for a member library, so a directory. So not a lot of people use that I know of. Announcements are more related to sending out announcements to your members. And there's the blog. And I was going to say, it's not showing me. The blog is something that I would use this. I would use this under website to manage and customize your blog. That's because it really is set up like a WordPress blog where you publish a new post and it automatically updates it. If I click the arrow again, it's going to show me an option to customize a blog post. And this is the blog search page. So that's a good thing. Again, the blog is set up with a search option, etc. This is a default thank you page. It's kind of handy in case you forget to customize your own specific thank you page. If you set that up, It's a default. Because the old default's it's pretty ugly. And a login screen, which is always important because this is where your members go to sign in to access their content within the library. People forget to customize this very often. And this is like one of my main recommendations is if your login screen, and I apologize, this navigation looks really crappy, but if you customize your login page, at least to put like your logo or something to identify it. I like that because then people don't think that they're logging into some random kind of website. So and we've got the login, and then if I come down here, let's see. Oh, and then there is a store. Not a lot of people utilize the store. The store allows you to publish your offers, and that could be a free offer. It could be a paid offer. So if you wanted to create a store because you have an assortment of, $37 mini courses or something like that, some people might want to create a store that if people land on your website and they just see that, they might be inclined to purchase. So I'm just going to come over here and see if you guys have any questions. Valerie, I'm not sure. You said awesome. That will be helpful. I'm not sure what that was in relation to, but thank you. I'm glad it was helpful, whatever it was. Okay. Coming back over, let's talk a little bit more. So again, the design page or the design section, other than customizing your blog, customizing your login, and possibly your library, I really focus on landing pages. So if I come down here and we talk about pages, that's where all of those landing pages are. So when you hear the term landing page, that can cover everything from creating a sales page to sell your offer, an opt-in or lead magnet or freebie opt-in page is also a landing page. A thank you page is also a landing page. And as I discussed, your home and your about page can be built as landing pages. So there's a lot of flexibility. And here again, this is something relatively new. So those of you that have Kajabi, if you're looking at this under pages, you might be saying, wait, I don't see this. Well, this is relatively new where they've organized all your pages, whether they are built under design or website, whether they're landing, or whether they are part of a pipeline. When we get to pipelines, which will be under marketing, I'm going to go into it in a greater detail, but a pipeline is basically Kajabi's word for a funnel. And what they're doing, is creating a template for you for various kinds of funnels and giving you all of the elements as a template to create that funnel. So for example, if you were going to do like this product launch, I'm just going to go ahead and click on that so you can see it. It will give you an assortment of pages and also other, what I would call assets, such as an email sequence. And again, all of this is going to have placeholder text that you would go in and customize for your own. So that they've recently done where they're organizing all pages in this setup. So we have website, landing, pipelines. For the most part, I work in landing. And you can see here, these are all like demo pages that you could set up. So when you're going to create a new theme, you click this blue button over here. You can also see upload themes. So like I was telling you earlier, there are some very talented people who have created some really nice themes, and you could upload those and add them to your site. But if you click new landing page, Kajabi does have some templates for you. You have a blank one. I recorded a training today specifically where I used a blank one and built it all from scratch personally because there just wasn't one already set up that was even close to what I was trying to create. They have these three mock-ups for you that they are talking about. They would be considered layouts that would be good for sales pages. I have not looked at these two actually. I usually start with the blank one and build it myself. They now have podcast pages. So if certain pages you want to have where you want to highlight your podcast and you want to have, if you're using Kajabi's new podcast feature, we'll talk about that probably tomorrow when I talk about products. But they have these templates that you can choose from. Those of you that are active on Instagram and you use Linktree, you can actually create your own Linktree page right here on your Kajabi site. I did this recently. I really, really like it. It's not even something that is just limited to Instagram. You could actually put it in your navigation if there are certain links that you want to highlight that you want people to be aware of. So that is a really handy page for you. And there's some thank you pages. I kind of go with the plain ones. There's opt-in pages. These are some examples. Again, it's nice to have some of these mock-ups that you can kind of take some inspiration from. Coming soon. So if you were creating a new website and you wanted just to have a coming soon page, you could set that up. And then they have some kind of standard for your policies, for your privacy policy, your terms and conditions, that type of thing. And you can see right here, they're just very straightforward. They're just text. There's not any really fancy adding images or anything, because these are just considered to be your policy pages. I'm trying to think of another term, but I think policy pages is probably as descriptive. Now you'll see down here, and this happens a lot, you'll see it also in pipelines. You'll also see it in, well, they don't use the same term, but also in email marketing. But you'll see legacy themes. And it happens for me that because I've been with Kajabi a long time, plus I've been in other programs, I have a whole bunch of templates in here, like the Brendan Bouchard templates and stuff like that. I'm not even sure if that's something everybody has or if it's, again, just because I've been with Kajabi a long time. I would not recommend using these. You might look at them to get some ideas and maybe use them as an example to build your own. But these are probably built using the old technology for the pages, and I wouldn't recommend using it. You want to use the most up-to-date, which is the theme called Encore in Kajabi. So that is kind of the themes for landing pages and how those all work. Now, like I mentioned, pipelines are all of the pre-built boilerplate, or not boilerplate, but placeholder text and assets of pages, emails, events, automations, all these things that are kind of pre-built for you. Here's where you can see all of those specific pages available, but you actually build out the pipeline. Usually down here under marketing, you can see pipelines. Okay, let me run over here. Check in. Oh, the Kajabi theme recommendations. Yes. Like I said, I think I will create a resource for you guys because there are two particular people I really, really like. One is named Penny Clements and the other is Meg Barrage. And they have really nice ones. In fact, I am not embarrassed to say I am going to be redoing my site because my site is old. It's based on the old Premiere theme. I'm going to redo my site using one of Penny's templates. It's really very nice. And I can customize it really well to really make it my own. With my branding colors, my images, I can, remove sections, add sections, and do a lot with it. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so I am going to jump back over here and we'll go ahead and continue under website. So we talked about design, which is Kajabi's website, themes, and their systems pages. We talked about pages as landing pages and our website pages in my case. And now we're going to talk about navigation because that's one of the biggest questions I think people have is when I say build your website using landing pages. Well, then the question comes up, how do I connect them? Well, just like in WordPress, you can connect them all using a navigation menu. And it's funny because you can see that menu in that example was so messed up because I just had a lot of stuff in there that was probably all kind of running together. But usually, and you can create different kinds of menus. So you would typically have 4 website pages, not for sales pages or opt-in pages. This is another question that comes up really frequently. When you're using a landing page, and the goal of that landing page is to have a person do one action. You want them to sign up for your lead magnet. You want them to buy your product. One specific thing to do. You don't put navigation on those pages. And the reason why is human nature is people are going to start clicking all over, right? Oh, I want to check out her blog. Oh, I'm going to go look at the store. And you don't want them to do them. You want them to focus on the page and you want them to take one action. Sign up, buy, whatever. But when you're talking about a website, our websites are normally with a navigation that guides them to our about page, services or products, blog, contact, etc. So using landing pages to create those individual pages, all you need to do is then have a navigation that then connects to them. And that navigation you can use at the top of each of those pages. The other thing that's helpful, and in fact, in some cases necessary, is to have a menu in the footer of, obviously, the bottom of your website. The reason why is, especially if you're running Facebook ads on any landing page. So let's say you have an opt-in. Let's say you might have a sales page. You're using Facebook ads to drive the traffic there. Facebook wants to know that your pages are in compliance by stating your privacy policy, your terms and conditions, anything that's related to whatever it is that you're selling. So it's really simple to create those pages. Here's another resource I'll give you is I know a lawyer who sells templates of all the necessary legal pages that you should have on your website. And you create those simple pages and link them in the footer. And then this way you have one footer and you can apply it to as many pages as you need to. So that one's a really handy one to have. Now, it says these are our default, and then you can create custom menus. So for the longest time, believe it or not, Kajabi didn't have drop-down menus. However, with a custom menu, you can create a drop-down menu. So these are just, again, examples. One-page website. I have a lot of these because these are all my examples. If I wanted to create a new navigation menu, and I could just say this is my new menu, then it just asks me to add pages or links. So this is another one of these situations that if you had your main website and content on WordPress, but you also had a page on Kajabi that focuses on your products that you sell, you could always include a link back to your WordPress site if you wanted to. That's just an example of using a link. But once again, you could add a page. So if I wanted to say I wanted to create an about page, I could then search for it. And you can see here, you have the option, and this is helpful sometimes. You can also, this is something that's kind of nice, is you can create a navigation menu that is used inside of a product. So you can limit it so that is only visible to somebody who is logged in at the time, meaning an actual customer. So I know Amy Porterfield's DCA is really popular right now because she's going through her launch. If you look at her navigation, she will have some links up there with resources that actually go out to a separate page outside of the product. So you have an option that you can create that navigation within a Kajabi product too. So you can also then make it that nobody else would see that unless they were actually a logged in customer. And you could just go through here and just add links or add pages to build out your navigation. Oh, Valerie, used for this. Yes, I really, really like Penny's stuff. I mean, in all honesty, I knew I needed to redo my site because I had not redone it in a long time. And I was like, I could do it. But her stuff is so pretty and it's still work. You're not going to lie to anybody. I don't know how it worked for you, Valerie, but especially a website, because of all the different pages and the different styles and the different layouts for, it's still a lot of work. But I think it's really going to be worth it. So I'm glad that you liked her stuff too. Okay, so I am going to jump to the last part, and it's about the blog. So one of the most frequently asked questions about Kajabi and websites, a couple of main topics that come up all the time. And it's funny because there are two main criticisms I always hear about Kajabi over and over, and it comes from people that say, I heard. Not that they had experience with it. So the first one is, I heard Kajabi's not good for SEO. Okay, so let's address that. So search engine optimization is obviously how well a page or a website can rank in the Google search engine. And, there's other search engines, but most of the time we're always talking about Google. And I really don't understand what is behind that statement, because, and I did a mini course on SEO on Kajabi. There are a lot of things that you can do. SEO is not solely the structure of the platform or the page where your content lives. Yes, WordPress does have a few advantages. I won't lie. It has a few advantages And unlike WordPress, you don't use plugins with Kajabi. So you don't have much in the way of a tool that's going to, an internal tool that's going to go and look at your pages and give you recommendations or identify potential problems. But there are a lot of really great third-party tools that do that you can use. Again, more resources I could talk about. So you definitely, absolutely, 100% can rank a site, a page, rank your content on Google using Kajabi. You can. So that is really a kind of a bogus excuse. Does it take work? Yes, it takes work. All these things do take work, but it absolutely can happen. And so that's why my statement, when people come and they say, I have a WordPress site, but I'd really like to have everything all in one place. Should I move and create my website on Kajabi? And I always say it depends. So the reason why I say it depends is if you have had your WordPress site for a very long time, you have built all your content. So therefore you have created a lot of you already have all these links that Google has indexed on WordPress. It's very difficult, but not impossible, to take all that content, move it to Kajabi, and try and maintain your search rankings for those pages. It just takes work. However, what I've told people is if you have a website, you haven't blogged much, you really haven't done much, and you're not ranking for anything that you want to be found for, and there's lots of tools to use to do that, you can absolutely move it, because that's what I did. A lot of you probably don't know, but I was a WordPress website developer. I've been doing it since 2006. My site was on WordPress until about 4 years ago when my site went down, and I thought, this is stupid. Why am I still maintaining a WordPress site when I was really working more with Kajabi? So I ended up basically recreating my site on Kajabi. It was easy for me because I was transitioning where I used to always talk about WordPress. I was talking about Kajabi. So the fact that I was indexed for WordPress terms wasn't important to me anymore. So it was easy for me to make a switch. So that's kind of some of the considerations. So having blabbed on about that, this is the blog post. So we looked at under design, and I'll jump into here and see if we can, that's resources. This is our directory. I think this was blog. Yeah. Again, these are all dummy pages, so it's not going to look very pretty. So this is simply setting up the layout of the blog page. So you can see here under blog listings, you can have them in a list, like one after another. You can have them in a 2-column grid. You can have them in a 3-column grid. You can move the media on one side or the other. So this is all about the layout and design of the blog. But when you are actually creating your blog content, you would do it here under blog. And this is where all of your posts are. And this is where you add all of that content. So that is where all of that. And then you can use the blog like I do. My content is all video. So we upload my Facebook Lives. We do little show notes about them, and we use the blog that way. So I think that's kind of it for today. Now, like I said, we're going to go over each one of these in addition, one a day, and we covered websites. So again, design is primarily for the website and system pages. Pages is for landing pages, but I also recommend using them for your public-facing website pages. Navigation is what pulls everything together and allows people to find your pages on any of them, all the different areas. And the blog, of course, is for creating your content. So if anybody have any questions, obviously, if you're watching on the replay, you can post your questions and just say #replay and let me know. So I hope that this was helpful. Again, I just wanted to, give you guys an overview because, again, so many questions that people have. Can I move my website to Kajabi? Absolutely. Should you? There's considerations that you should have. Kajabi absolutely can rank for SEO. It was a joke. It wasn't a joke. I'm actually really thrilled about it. As somebody found me, and when I asked him, he said, well, I found you on Google. I Googled Kajabi coach. And I went, really? Honestly, that was not a term I was trying to rank for, but I love it. And I looked, and so even every time I check, I am on the first page of Google under Kajabi coach, just under any references that Kajabi makes on their blog related to coaches. But I'm there. So, oh, good. Julie says, great review. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate it. Okay, so tomorrow, it'll be same time, 3 o'clock. I am going to go over really probably the most important, which is our products and offers. So I'm going to go into detail with products. We'll talk about the new products that are coming out. I'm super excited about one of them, and I'm going to get early access, so I'll be able to share it all with you as well. So Chris Ann, oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Chris Ann. And Valerie, thank you. I'm glad it was helpful. So 3 o'clock tomorrow, we will cover products and offers. I'll give you some of my best tips on that, especially related to your offers. So post any questions going forward, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.